The definition of disintegration: the process of losing cohesion or strength. The twin problems of economic failure and social disintegration. The process of coming to pieces. The disintegration of infected cells. Physics: a process which a nucleus or other subatomic particle emits a smaller particle or divides into smaller particles. What happens to oxygen when it turns on the life process of the cells? You get superoxide. That's an oxygen molecule missing an electron. It damages the cells so many times per second, it can rip cancer cells to pieces in seconds, so small you can't even see the cancer cell under a microscope anymore. That's what's physically doing that. Now we know. It's good to have something within ourselves that can actually integrate the superoxide again back to the whole oxygen molecule. Otherwise, the superoxide will continue to disintegrate even the healthy cells in the surrounding area. Superoxide dismutase is an enzyme that reintegrates the superoxide molecules back to oxygen molecules with 1 million of those superoxide molecules per second, every second. This is at the fundamental core of the laws of empowerment or disempowerment, life and death. To help you see integration versus disintegration, the definition of integrity, which is the root of integration. Isn't that interesting? We'll expand a lot on this. Integrity is one of the most important and oft-cited of virtue terms. It is also perhaps the most puzzling. It's misunderstood. For example, while it is sometimes used virtually synonymously with moral, we also at times distinguish acting morally from acting with integrity. Persons of integrity may in fact act immorally, though they would usually not know they're acting immorally. They don't know. Remember that. Thus, one may acknowledge a person to have integrity, even though that person may hold what one thinks are importantly mistaken moral views. Remember, they don't know. And by the time we're finished with the laws of empowerment, you'll know this is false, because you'll see that moral behavior and integrity are actually inseparable. But even those who've written this definition hadn't integrated the two. Why? Well, it just shows how new and important the Laws of Empowerment program is. They didn't have the option of learning from this program. But this is a major fundamental shift in our integrity. As self-integration, on the self-integration view of integrity, integrity is a matter of persons integrating various parts of their personality into a harmonious, intact whole. Understood in this way, the integrity of persons is analogous to the integrity of things. Integrity is primarily a matter of keeping the self intact and uncorrupted. The self-integration view of integrity makes integrity a formal relation to the self. DID is dissociative identity disorder, which was formerly called multiple personality disorder. Now we know the brain has just been literally fragmenting, partitioning, and disintegrating. This is what we've been talking about: integrity, and how it's associated with disintegration versus integration. Another interesting fact is the therapy used for those with DID is called integrative therapy. This is how I think about everything. The laws of empowerment give us new corrective lenses to view the world. Christ understood DID. On the cross, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." How did he understand this principle of integration or disintegration? Basic laws of personal development, that's how he understood it. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 23. Every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess. I believe this is the only way any of us will survive the shift that's now happening. People have two options when they're faced with their issues. Number one, change their behavior, which means bending the knee. Or number two, forget it. This is at the core of the laws of empowerment. If you want to increase your intelligence and integrate your personality into a whole, into a fully integrated personality, you have to actually be in integrity with the truth. It's too much dissonance knowing and not acting accordingly, also known as cognitive dissonance. The mental anguish experienced by experiencing two conflicting beliefs in the same situation at the same time. This dissonance creates such terror, our brain usually discards one of the two beliefs. Whichever one is not in harmony with what we choose as our future behavior. It's why we forget if we don't choose to be in harmony with the truth. It's harmony versus dissonance. This is at the core of the laws of empowerment. Many of the facets of truth start disappearing right away as soon as people fall out of integrity, until the whole thing's gone eventually for those who continue down that path. That's right. People change their belief system based on their behavior, the choices they make, more than anything else. But this is what happens. In order to even retain many of the key facets of the truth, we have to be in harmony with the laws. This is just the way we develop. We've been teaching some of these principles as the basic cycle of personal development and the circle of truth in the Why It's Possible video series